Having given you a snapshot of what we are doing and where we are at, the next part of our presentation is talking about some observations, and we try to present here the kind of partnership strategy that we are using at the Institute. Because, as Elgin has explained, there are different parties in IED that we are working with. In particular, we work together with the ITS and ISO units, the IT infrastructure services unit and the information system office, which takes care of the so-called banner system, the student information system. So we have to collaborate very closely with the two so-called technical offices, and they provide the infrastructure. They decide to use the Blackboard or the LMS actually, rather than academics or the learning center deciding on what to use. And they pay for the license fee too, which is happy for us in a sense. We are on the front end, you can say, working with teachers and students. Our LTTC, the center, is the user support unit and user training center, workshop offering unit for teaching and learning with technology at the Institute. And we see this tri-party partnership or collaboration as an important thing for success of fostering of enhancement of teaching and learning with technology. So within the community, we focus, we try as far as we can, talking about student-oriented, student-centered learning, as all institutions do. We are connected in a way to the supplier, the Blackboard, when we have problems, hiccups, sometimes directly or through the IDS services. We get service and support from the Blackboard, and also through a local agent of Blackboard Inc. Well, I think we stop for a minute and think about what we are doing all here. We talk about a lot of technologies with this platform or that platform, whether it's a course management system or an LMS. After all, what are we for? Doing it for? So what? Can we foster quality teaching and learning really? And how do people really put these into practice? What we observe from my experience across institutions, working with academic staff and students, we are still pretty much teacher-centered. If you look at the design of Blackboard, WebCT, or even Moodle, it's a course-based development. What colleagues do is that we open an account for them, they have their courses so-called put on a platform, and they decide what to put and upload on the platform for the students to access. They are in control. There's still teacher control, very much. No matter what platform, what technology you're talking about, I think it's too biased still. Although we play a lot of so-called lip service to learner-centered environment, I think we need to address this balance, this shifting from the so-called teacher-centered mode, the traditional classical delivery of lectures, and to the really learner-focused, learner taking responsibility mode of learning. We hope that e-learning with the new technology can help re-engage students really in learning and lifelong learning as well. We have to facilitate the students to take responsibility and take charge of their development. And I think it's worth noting the trend of the development of so-called personal learning environments, PLEs. This is quite different from the kind of LMS we are talking about, whether it's Moodle or WebCity, when the university or institute is in control and the course deliverer is in control, versus students now have access to all kinds of platforms, Facebook, blogs, YouTube. With just one browser, you have access to almost any kind of thing. And actually, you like it or not as a teacher, the learner has that control of access to information already. How can we help our future generation to really master the use of that technology and have at least some sense of control on their own hands, rather than being controlled by the environment, by the big enterprises, by the Google? Well, I'm controlled in a sense because I am already into it. I cannot get out of it. I use Gmail, I use Google Docs and things like that. I use Apple, I use Mac phones, and iPhones, like what you said. I don't know how to get out of it sometimes. So I think to really master ICT is not just mastering the skills and technology, it's mastering sometimes the empowerment of really the students being able to control the technology. To share a few observations, as we have stressed already, partnership is important with students, with colleagues, with IT experts, technology officers, and so on. So we got finally an automated kind of integration between the banner, registry information, and the blackboard system. So we don't have to manually create on demand the so-called post sites anymore. I think it's necessary and important to understand the faculties, the teachers' pedagogical preferences, and also important to understand the students' learning needs and the different learning styles. Ongoing staff development is unavoidable to keep our staff and ourselves updated with fast-changing technologies. And sometimes we have to be entrepreneurial and fostering e-learning. We try to attempt and pioneer and step into uncertainties. Well, be ready to make sometimes mistakes. And I think that's sufficient to cover what we have tried.